So this session is looking at how you can use Microsoft Teams to manage learner enrolments in LMS 365 without having to leave the Teams app. So a little bit of background for you. When you create a team, a number of things happen. So a Power BI workspace gets created in the background. So this happens all automatically. An Azure Active Directory group gets provisioned. A SharePoint site gets provisioned. So a lot of things happen in the background when you create a team. Okay, so we can take advantage of the fact that it creates an Azure AD group. Okay, we've got our Azure AD group. So what can we then do with that in LMS 365? So we can add that group into a course. So we can say, I want to enroll the InfoSec team members. Okay, so I add that in. I've already added it earlier, Blue Peter style. Here's what I made earlier. So you add the InfoSec team in, and then anyone who's in that InfoSec team will then be enrolled onto the course. And that process happens automatically with no interaction required from LMS admins, from Teams admins. So the act of adding someone to the team by going to add member, once it's had a chance to sync, so roughly it's up to an hour, the person who gets added would then be enrolled onto this particular course, in this case, the ABC course. Okay, so that's the first thing to say. So in short, you can assign Teams groups to LMS courses, and then you could have people go into these teams, get specific training, and then when they get removed from the team, they also get unenrolled from that training as well. So actually, you can start managing your courses using Teams quickly and effectively. This is really cool. I'm quite excited about this because it empowers the team owner, which might not necessarily be an LMS admin, to control who gets what training. So for example, there might be an all company team. You get enrolled into, say, the company policies course, the GDPR course, all of those courses that are essential to every employee. But then you have other teams. So for example, you might have an InfoSec team or a health and safety team, and membership of those particular teams would mean that you get access to that particular set of training. So that's really powerful. Taking this a step further, we can then add guests into our team as well. Okay, so this process is managed in Teams. So you add in a guest. So for example, I've added in me and Charlie, one of my test accounts. So let's have a look and see what happens when a guest, so someone who's not got an account at all, gets added onto a team. So first thing that happens is that they get a Teams invite. So this is really important. This isn't an LMS invite. This is a Teams invite. Okay. They accept the invitation, and they then get this is another Microsoft-based email. So they verify the email address. Again, this is nothing to do with LMS 365. So this is all managed by Microsoft and Microsoft Teams. And then, now that they've got an account on the system, it then synchronizes to LMS 365. And we can see that that learner's now in there, and the guest now gets an email saying you've been enrolled in the following training. Okay. So again, that process is managed entirely by the team owner. Again, when they get removed, they'll come out of that course and the license for LMS will be released again. So you can do all of your guest management and your learner management inside of Teams. Now, the likelihood is that most of our customers will use a range of these enrolment techniques. So for the vast majority of their use cases, they might well use Teams. So for example, all company policies will be applied through one team, and then you have different departments, and you might have a bit of ad hoc enrolments. And then you have guests on top of that as well. So actually this complements the existing enrolment processes, and it can help with driving usage into Teams, because if you can manage groups within Teams, if you can manage training within Teams without having to go outside of Teams, that drives more traffic into Teams, and the use case of using Teams in the flow of work becomes more pertinent.